On January 26, 2021, a helicopter accident shocked the world when NBA superstar Kobe Bryant tragically passed away in the incident. A legend was lost forever. Following this, the National Transportation Safety Board of the United States launched an investigation into the accident. After more than a year, the truth about Kobe's death began to emerge. Returning to the morning of January 26, 2020, Kobe and his daughter Gianna, along with 6 others, set off to Camarillo, 129 kilometers away, to attend a basketball game. Kobe was the coach of the team, while his daughter Gianna was the star player. They were traveling on a luxurious Sikorsky S-76B helicopter, often likened to a limousine in the sky, with a cabin that could accommodate 8 passengers. This type of helicopter is preferred for high-end trips, even used by heads of state, and can also serve for aerial rescue. Overall, this helicopter is very safe, and pilot Zobayan had 8,000 flight hours experience and is the chief pilot of Island Express, a helicopter rental company in Los Angeles. California specializes in serving celebrities and VIP guests, including basketball star Kawhi Leonard of the LA Clippers and legend Kobe Bryant. That morning, around 9 a.m., a helicopter took off from John Wayne Airport in Santa Ana to the Mamba Sports Academy of Kobe, with the trip expected to take only about 30 minutes. Notably, Kobe had a habit of flying by helicopter since the beginning of his career because traffic in Los Angeles can be very congested, and traveling by car often results in wasted time. Kobe wanted to dedicate every second to basketball, which is why he maintained this habit for many years. However, flying over Los Angeles is not simple, as there are many airspaces crowded into a small area. Kobe's helicopter had to fly through the controlled airspace of Burbank Airport, and then into the controlled airspace of Van Nuys Airport. Zobayan requested permission from air traffic control to fly through the airspace of Burbank Airport. Due to the busy airspace, they were only allowed to fly using instruments, meaning the pilot had to rely entirely on the navigation equipment on the helicopter. However, Zobayan only had a Visual Flight Rules (VFR) certification, and unfortunately, the visibility in Burbank that day was only 4 kilometers, which did not meet the requirements for visual flight. Therefore, his request was denied. However, with his extensive experience, Zobayan requested to fly under special rules in low visibility conditions, which allowed him to fly in visibility below 1.6 kilometers. Air traffic control permitted him to fly through Burbank airspace, but due to another aircraft needing to land, Zobayan had to hold until the airspace was clear. During this time, the pressure on the pilot was immense, as the wait would cause Kobe to be late. Finally, after 12 minutes of holding, they were allowed to fly through Burbank airspace. After leaving Burbank, the helicopter flew northwest along Interstate 5, take Highway 118 through the Van Nuys airspace, then along Highway 101 to Camarillo. Due to bad weather, Zobayan was flying at an altitude of 174 meters, which made it impossible for air traffic control to track his position on radar. With just 10 minutes left to the destination, visibility worsened, and the pilot decided to gain altitude to rise above the clouds. Air traffic control was not continuously monitoring, so the pilot had to activate the transponder to appear on radar. The helicopter ascended to an altitude of 1,219 meters, but then tragedy struck as the helicopter suddenly tilted and plunged out of the clouds, crashing to the ground at a speed of 296 kilometers per hour, and then exploding. A few hours later, the media reported on this tragedy. Kobe and his 13-year-old daughter, along with 7 others, lost their lives in the helicopter crash, leaving a deep pain and sorrow in Los Angeles. People flocked to the Staples Center to pay tribute to the basketball star in their own way. Kobe left this world in such a heartbreaking way, dedicating himself fully to basketball, until his final moments, according to the Traffic Safety Commission know. They will investigate the cause of Kobe's death, questioning how an experienced pilot with a modern helicopter could encounter an accident just 39 kilometers from the destination. Investigators used drones to survey the scene, and based on the debris, they determined that the helicopter's rate of descent was very high before the collision, causing debris to scatter up to 27 meters away. The investigation team conducted a thorough examination of the helicopter's wreckage and ruled out any mechanical or electrical failures. Subsequently, some photos sent by witnesses caught the attention of the investigators. From the photos, it is clear that the helicopter flew into a thick cloud just before the accident occurred. The unique location of the area near the crash site is also an important factor, as the Malibu Canyon can draw fog from the Pacific Ocean, and this fog encountered the helicopter as it flew into the clouds. Investigators confirmed that 1 minute before the accident occurred, the helicopter flew into a thick cloud. In aviation, this situation is referred to as entering instrument meteorological conditions, meaning that visibility is too poor for visual flight, and the pilot can only rely on flight instruments. Over the past 10 years, entering instrument meteorological conditions has been the leading cause of aviation accidents. Professionally trained pilots always avoid flying in such conditions if possible. So why did Zobayan not turn back or wait for better weather, but instead choose to take the risk of flying through? Investigators are considering a classic hypothesis that the pilot may have been under pressure from some source, leading him to choose to continue the journey after the accident. Many speculate that Kobe was very focused on time management. He often used helicopters to avoid unnecessary delays and may have pressured the pilot to ensure they arrived on time. However, when investigators delved deeper into Island Express, the company that had served Kobe for 26 flights over the past year, and interviewed pilots who had flown for Kobe over the past 2 years, no one reported that Kobe had ever pressured the pilot. Clearly, this hypothesis lacks foundation. Upon further investigation into Zobayan, investigators found that his relationship with Kobe was very close. They had a familial bond. Investigators believe that this close relationship led Zobayan to have a strong desire to get Kobe to his destination safely, creating self-imposed pressure. Investigators also discovered that the influence on Zobayan's decision came less than 10 minutes before reaching the destination when the helicopter entered the cloud. This factor led him to be affected by the bias of continuing the plan, meaning that when you are about to complete a task, you tend to overlook negative factors that could hinder your plan. For this reason, Zobayan ignored the bad weather conditions and decided to risk flying through the cloud, even at a speed exceeding 185 kilometers per hour. He then did not use the autopilot to lift the aircraft above the clouds. Investigators discovered through the cockpit recording that after entering the clouds, Zobayan thought he was gaining altitude, but in reality, he was sharply turning left, and the aircraft was descending rapidly. He was completely unaware of this. This is a phenomenon known as spatial disorientation, where pilots have no reference points around them, making it impossible to determine the aircraft's flight direction in the absence of reference points. The human body cannot maintain accurate spatial awareness when controlling an aircraft, which requires him to activate the feedback device. This has caused him to lose focus, and the movement has displaced the fluid in his ears, creating a false sense of perception. This further disoriented Zobayan. A spatial simulation shows the level of danger associated with spatial disorientation. The simulation device can completely recreate the sensations of spinning and inversion that affect the pilot when the instruments are turned off. The pilot must rely entirely on his senses. This condition caused Zobayan to experience 2 common types of illusions: the gravity illusion, which distorts his sense of the aircraft's tilt, and the rotational illusion, which affects his perception of sudden movements. When the helicopter descended rapidly, He thought he was ascending and was trying to find a reference point instead of checking the instruments. As a result, the aircraft tilted sharply and descended at a speed of 296 kilometers per hour before exploding. After crashing into the ground, the pilot still did not realize he was in danger until the last moment. This accident resulted in the deaths of 9 people, including Kobe and his daughter Gianna. It has made the aviation industry more aware of the dangerous effects of spatial disorientation. This highlights the importance of raising pilot training standards to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Thank you for watching the entire video. Please subscribe to the channel to see more exciting videos. Goodbye and see you again.